Carlos Nelson with Cascade Sports, and today we have assistant coach down at Elizabeth City. Who do we have here?
Ray Broughton. Yes,
A
sir.
a coach.
Yes,
Go
sir.
back to kindergarten and run it down. How you become involved with the game. Talk about if you played. Talk about some of your mentors and some of the people, all the way down from uh,
That's a long run, but I
that's
got you.
all
Yes,
right.
sir.
My people, they nosy. They want to know who you are.
All
Run
right.
it down.
Again, so I'm Ray Broughton. I'm from Jacksonville, Florida. Born and raised. Played athletic. Been involved in athletics all my life. I think that's as I look back at my life. That's probably my passion for coach leading and mentoring is because the coach leaders and mentors I had in my life as a youth propelled me out of the inner city of Jacksonville, Florida. Um, through, through elementary again, I played sports. Middle school again, I was more of a football guy, right? I was a football guy. Went to Andrew Jackson High School in Jacksonville. State champion basketball team, football team. We excelled the last 2 years of school. From
What position
there,
did you play? You a dual athlete. My people need to know, man.
oh yes sir, yes
Yeah,
sir.
run it down.
And for basketball, I played small forward, power forward. Played both football. I played outside linebacker. Um, from there, from out of high school, I also played baseball. Played first base and right field. Um,
Yeah, that now we talking.
now we talking. I
Then I
got you.
want you to
Yes, sir.
go through your high school career. Run down your freshman year, and my people need to know who
Yeah,
you
yeah,
are.
yes, sir. So again, when we were in school, your freshman year was still in was junior high, right? So my ninth grade year was junior high. So we had success, but it really we always said it didn't count in junior high because there's no record books of winning your conference in junior high. My 10th grade year, however,
Your
play,
personal, not the team. How you were playing. All right.
oh, I always consider like just like every athlete, I always had a stellar year, right? I always thought I was playing above my pay grade, if you would say. Again, I just loved athletics. Again, just being an inner city kid, that was always my way out, right? That was my way out. Every kid dreams of getting their family out, and through athletics, that was my way, right? Um, my 10th grade year was my first year of high school, and again had a pretty solid not middle school, junior high school career. So I was expecting that in high school, and right away I kind of paid dividends, played varsity all 3 years for all three sports. Um, Never really choosing a sport which was more I was better at, but football I was just better at, right? Um, Partially because of my size and being able to move at my size.
Run down your size. Give your
So
measurements.
so in high school I was 6'1", 6'2", 220 pounds. Good size for a high school athlete.
Was you a hitter?
Um, yes, sir. That's as God bless that, as my dad said, I just hit real regular, right? So I didn't miss many. And then out of high school, had a chance to go to Alabama State. Didn't stay there. Didn't stay. And then the next part of my life was I ended up joining the military, right? So part of that, I'm a 23-year Army officer, retired officer, Army vet. And so while in my time in the military, of course, football was really dead, right? Wasn't no more tackle football for me while I was on active duty. So that really led me to more basketball, right? Play a little all Army basketball, started playing post level sports, and really got into playing. I'm a father of six, right? I'm a father of six. I'm married. My wife is also, we were dual military. She's a retiree as well. So my dynamic as a player started to shift, right? Now I didn't necessarily know I want to coach, right? But my dynamic of I know I did like staying close to the game. I played pickup, right? I started playing old man pickup now, right? So when I wasn't competing like I was normally competing, but I was playing pretty regular. Fast forward to my oldest, once they got into serious about wanting to get better, I really start coaching my own kids. I think that's where my coaching career started, right? Coaching them, and then going to 2000, fast forward to 2005, I was in Colorado Springs, Colorado, and a buddy of mine was coaching an AAU team. And and we was leaving playing our pickup, and he said, "Hey, Ray, you should come out and watch my practice." And I go out and I watched them. And of course, I kind of gravitated to helping him. Long story short, he ended up having to go on a military assignment somewhere and say, "Hey, Ray, would you take over my team?" Right. And that's when my coaching career started. Right. I took over that team and fell in love with just the ability to pour into young men and young women. And that's just kind of, being my passion. It was also what I did, what I did as a soldier, as a leader. Um, I just always gravitate to really being able to lead our young men and women. I've been doing that all my adult life.
It's
So
something when that calling hits you
oh man,
and you see,
yes,
because there's
sir.
no money in it.
There, right, right,
The 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 young men that you're able to, and especially coming out of the would be. This is always used this word, the hood,
right. No
because
question.
you know what that hood is
That's
about,
right. That's
and
right.
a lot of the individuals, especially that go to HBCUs, real talk is the hood, and
Right.
uh, male leadership is very important
Yes, sir.
at that point as a coach.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So go ahead and keep running it down.
And it's just that's always been my thing. Again, I've been leading young men and women all my adult life, right? So I joke and say I got an MBA, I got a master's in business administration, but I got a doctorate in real life leadership, right? And so when I really got into coaching, I think from there, I saw my first high school job. I think I coached JV in Fort Riley, Kansas, right? I coached JV there, and I said, "Oh man, I really like this thing." And from there, I went to Okinawa, Japan. I went to Okinawa, Japan. I coached for a DOD school over there, Kadena High School, and we had some success. Won a state championship. So I said, "Okay, so now I got the bug. I'm 100% a coach now, right? I'm still active duty. I'm still working my job, but whenever free time I got, I was in the gym with some kids, right? From there, over there, I actually met Sean Walker, the former coach here, good friend of mine, really good friend of mine. Um, I met him at a camp that we hosted in Okinawa. We hosted camp for military kids, and we invited several HBCUs to come over and participate, and just to kind of get eyes on some of the kids who wasn't getting opportunity to get exposure because they're in Japan, they're in
Right.
Okinawa, right? So we had 6, 7 schools come over there. Elizabeth City State was one of them. Sean and I kind of connected, and we kind of just stayed connected, right? And so fast forward 2 years, my next assignment was Fort Lee or Fort Gregg Adams now, Virginia, right outside of Petersburg. Um,
That's where I went to school my freshman year in 69, 70, Virginia State.
oh yeah, okay. So
Home of scuba knot wine.
yeah, so you know the area.
I know your area. I used to run track for there, and two of my teammates, I'm from New York, they went
uh-huh.
to North Carolina Central. And
Okay.
hey, it's nothing like going down there in them Carolinas, baby.
I coached at Prince George High School. I actually coached girls for 4 years in my time in Virginia. And I always tell people that's probably where I grew the most as a coach, right? I really learned how to play the game below the rim, how to use X's and O's and not athleticism, all not dependent on all athleticism. Now we had a lot of success while I was at Prince George. Now I was blessed to have some really, 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 really good young ladies play for me. Um, And then from there, I left Fort Lee, Virginia, and went to Fort Bragg, now Fort Liberty, right? And Sean introduced me to Coach Alfonso Key at Fayetteville State, and that's when my college career started. I volunteered my first year, well, my last year of active duty, and then I was brought onto the staff full time, and I was at Fayetteville for 5 years. Um, then I came up here to Elizabeth City with Sean Walker initially in 2020 and came back with Coach Richardson last year, at the end when he came back. So that's kind of
Hey,
my
hey, that's what we talking about.
yes, sir.
As I try to, people be like, Mr. Nelson, why do you do your interview? I'm like, I'm not trying to be a sports commentator. I'm trying to tell my
That's right.
audience
Life stories.
who my people are and what's going on in HBCU land for
Yes,
real,
sir.
not
Yes, sir.
for uh the the spotlight. Our
Yes, sir.
guys and our coaches, they coach a lot because of the kids. There's no money.
Yes. It
And
ain't money.
when
No
you're
question.
assistant coach in the HBCU, I would say a half of them are volunteer coaching because
Right.
you don't have the budget.
Right.
And so
Right.
I
Yes,
like to
sir.
bring these things out in my interviews so that our audience will get a feeling that this is just not an assistant coach. This man has 20 years in working with youth in our community.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And it's funny how I remember my time at my first year after my first year at Fayetteville State, Todd Bennett, the AD at Fayetteville, asked me, he said, Coach, how did you transition so smoothly? Like what was your like you just went from leading soldiers to leading players. And it's crazy because it's really not a major difference in leadership style, right? Yeah, I was leading guys with rifles, turned to leading guys with basketballs, but you got some very stark similarities, right? You got the barracks,
Programming, really.
you got the barracks, and you got the dorms, right? You got the calf, and and you got the dining facility, right? It's the same thing, right? You got 18 to 25-year-olds that think they know it all, right? That goes on both ways. So it's a lot of things, but leadership is leadership, right? And at the end of the day, I'm a firm believer everything rises and falls on leadership, right? So when you kind of look at when things aren't going right, you probably kind of look at your philosophy of your leadership style as a leader.
That's you know what, but it took me time to learn that if there's something going wrong, you need to look at yourself.
That's right.
Don't be looking at
That's
the
right.
players, don't be
That's
looking
right.
at nobody else. If you are in that potentate seat.
Right. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Absolutely. Leadership is so dynamic, it's challenging, but at the same time, it's rewarding. Right.
But that's where cognitive dissonance come in,
Yes, sir.
where you are looking at what's real and not, you know. So, what do you have hopes for this season?
Of course, want to win. I believe we're talented. The coach did a great job of putting together a roster that's ready to win now, right? Of course, though, at this time of the year, every team in the country feel they can win, right? But we have that belief. We believe we're good enough. And now it's just the fact of getting out here and you got the puzzle, you got all the pieces on the table. And now we just got to make sure we put the pieces together the right way, right? But winning is always the goal. Like I made it to the championship game in 2017, and I was the second team on the stage, right? I want to be the last team on the stage, right? And we believe we got a chance and opportunity to do that.
All right, Coach. Do you have any parting words, and would you like to give a shout out?
No shout outs, but important words is this, I believe, one of the things that led me to coaching and leading me to leadership is this is an opportunity for us to build brick homes and not mobile homes, right, into our young men, right? We want our kids to be able to, these young men to be able to withstand the storms and the hurricanes and the tornadoes of the world that they're gonna actually face, and we try to make sure we instill that we have build good pillars in our community, right? And that's my parting words.
It was a pleasure having you on the show.
Yes, sir.
All
Thank you
you
for having
chumps out there, you think Cascade Sports is soft? We
me.
go hard in the paint.
Yes, sir.
This program is brought to you by the City of Fountains Coaches Association.